John, I keep hearing that getting insurance here in the Hamptons is quite difficult. What's the story here?
About 10 years ago, FEMA designated Eastern Suffolk County as a Cat 3 area after Louisiana and Florida. And then a lot of companies pulled out, and so you're left with core companies that can insure houses with a replacement cost of over $1 million. Everything underneath that, it's basically a free-for-all. So it's become difficult.
Some of the buzzwords I hear all the time are floodplains and flood zones. What does that mean to the average homeowner?
Right, there are 3 flood zones. There's an X, AE, and a VE. An X zone is still considered a flood zone, but it's a 300-year event, potential 300-year event, and the premiums are fairly low. For $250,000, you're looking at $400. If you go to an AE zone, we jokingly call it almost expensive, and then the VE zone, which is very expensive. So the AE zone means that you're in a flood zone with a 200-year potential. The VE zone means you have a potential catastrophic event every 100 years.
John, can you have an insurance policy without flood insurance?
Yes and no. Yes, they can. It's usually an optional coverage. Sometimes the bank mandates it. If they're close to the water, the bank will probably mandate it.
John, I keep hearing that some areas are harder to insure than others. For example, I hear Sag Harbor. What do you know about that?
Well, I insure quite a few houses in Sag Harbor and North Haven. It's basically a giant flood zone. What I mean by that is, although some parts of it are an X zone, which is okay, the insurance carriers see it as a potential catastrophic zone, and so the premiums are generally higher. The flood premiums will stay the same because they're mandated, but the homeowners' premiums are generally a little higher in Sag Harbor.
John, what would the average homeowner expect to pay to get homeowners insurance here in the Hamptons?
There are a lot of variables, but I'll give you some ballparks. Everything seems to start for the smallest house around $2,000 to $2,500. Once you get over $1 million in replacement costs, which is quite easy out here, you're looking at around $5,000 per million. So if you've got a $10 million place, you can expect to pay up to $50,000.
John, thanks for taking the time to talk with me today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Patrick.